welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Webster Tarpley here in Washington, D.C. Now, you've just heard from Phil Berg, one of the great protagonists of the enlightened anti-Obama opposition. Remember, this is a Democrat talking, somebody who actually supported Hillary Clinton, did Phil Berg in the beginning of the primaries, former Democratic State Committee man, former Democratic County Chairman, Democratic candidate for the posts of Senator and Governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So the real opposition to Obama started where? Well, among what we can call Puma Democrats. Now, the right-wingers were very, very slow on all of this stuff. And then let's note the activities of another figure in this opposition. That is Larry Sinclair. Larry Sinclair is announcing that his book will finally appear as a printed book. Printed books do take a while. People should understand this and be patient. The book in question, Barack Obama and Larry Sinclair, Cocaine, Sex, Lies, and Murder, ? Barack Obama and Larry Sinclair, Cocaine, Sex, Lies, and Murder, Sinclair Publishing. Now, if you want to get a copy of this, you can pre-order at Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble, the place to go for Larry Sinclair. And let me just give you a little bit of the blurb that Larry has put out. The biggest untold story of the 2008 U.S. presidential election. Finally, we get the no-holds-barred, 100% true story of Barack Obama's use and sale of cocaine, his homosexual affairs, and the Christmas Eve 2007 murder of Obama's former lover and choir director of Obama's Chicago church of 20 years, Donald Young, just days before the 2008 Iowa caucus. Larry Sinclair then goes on to write, this searingly candid story begins with Barack Obama meeting Larry Sinclair in November of 1999, subsequently procuring and selling cocaine, and then the encounter of Sinclair with Obama on November 6th and again on November 7th, 1999. You will read in riveting detail how Sinclair in 2007 repeatedly contacted and requested that the Obama campaign simply come clear about their candidate's 1999 drug use and sale. You will learn how the Obama campaign, David Axelrod and Barack Obama, used Donald Young, the lover of Obama, it is alleged, to contact and seek out information from Sinclair about to what extent he had divulged word of Obama's crimes and actions. And then he's got a part about the discrediting operation against Larry Sinclair, conduited through various people. The role of the nefarious MSNBC, Chris Matthews, Keith Olbermann, the New York Times, CNN, Politico, the Daily Kos, Huffington Post, attacking the National Press Club for allowing Larry Sinclair to give a news conference there. Larry Sinclair then arrested on a warrant written by the corrupt Joe Biden's even more corrupt son, Delaware Attorney General Beau Biden, an arrest warrant, completely false, fabricated charges to attempt to discredit Sinclair. And in this phase we get even the threat of life in prison for political dissidents coming from Beau Biden to Larry Sinclair. Then the nefarious actions of the media, but also the Chicago Police Department, FBI, Delaware Attorney General, and so forth. So that's a blockbuster. And whatever your opinions may be, you've got to evaluate the evidence. This is a first-person narrative, and it's called Barack Obama and Larry Sinclair, Cocaine, Sex, Lies, and Murder, ? And that's to be pre-ordered now on Barnes & Noble. Author is Larry Sinclair. So that's a piece of political news, right? It's something that you should be aware of. Now, let us return to the issues of the moment. We have Senator Tom Daschle, former Senator Tom Daschle, the senator from Citibank. You'll remember him. He was going to become the healthcare czar of Obama, and he was knocked out of the box because he was a tax cheat. He was a tax evader. So tax evasion by Daschle gets you a polite request to pay up. For the rest of us, something different, as we know. So Daschle now comes out in a meeting with James Baker III, the idea man for Bush the Elder, saying it's time to scrap the public option. No public option. Now, one person who went in crisis as a result of this is Ed Schultz, the pseudo-progressive demagogue who is on Air America, and he's got his own show on MSNBC because, of course, Ed Schultz had been locked in an embrace with Daschle up there in the high plains between the Dakotas and Minnesota for quite a while. But now there's a problem there. And let me just go through what I think is the essence of this problem. I think a public option is a very good idea. I don't know if it's feasible to go to an immediate single payer right now, but here's the situation. Private insurance is, first of all, for profit. It is deregulated. There is no patient's bill of rights that means anything, that forces any HMO to do anything in particular. You can't sue them. So it's for profit, deregulated, and you can't sue them, and your life depends on it. Now, that is absolutely unacceptable. Your life is at the mercy of a for-profit, rapacious businessman, in this case an insurance executive who's really just a finance oligarch in the insurance side of things, the older side, actually. When you look back to Venice, the insurance companies are older than the banks. So that's an interesting thing about the dynamics inside the finance oligarchy. It's for-profit, deregulated, you can't sue them, and your life depends on it. So that is unacceptable. Now, the question is, why would a government-sponsored or option be cheaper? Why might this offer some benefits? Well, because you would have control over the pay of the executives, right? A government bureaucrat will serve for $200,000, not $20 million. There would be no stock, therefore no dividends. So you're saving all the dividends. You don't need advertising at the same level. You don't have to spend a lot of money on advertising. And, huge item, you don't need to do lobbying at the level that the private company would have to do it, because you will have a constituency of senators for you in the first place. So I think basically, on the whole, that makes it advisable that the United States government create a kind of Medicare for all in the form of a government-sponsored entity. People say the Republican argument is, oh, that's a slippery slope to socialized medicine on the British model. Well, no. Look at the United States Postal Service. This would be a good example. The U.S. Postal Service, not generally a recipient of tax money, generally speaking self-supporting, which somehow finds a way to compete with FedEx and UPS and the other express companies. So think of it that way. USPS competes with FedEx, hasn't driven them out of business. Similar for healthcare. Back in a minute.